Yeah, 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 yeah. Welcome to me casa, make yourself at home, do your do. Welcome to my pad, this your lab, go create your move.
I guess I didn't even do a formal intro, but oh well, we don't need none of that. We don't need none of that. We just talking. This is, you know, I'm trying to get on that barbershop LeBron level. You know?
Oh, you gonna get the? Hey, I'm gonna remind you of that too. Remember?
Yeah, remember this time?
Yep.
But just talk about like where you at right now, because you know people. You know, I don't even technically know. Right, I guess where you at. I mean, we've been talking the last couple of weeks, but before my Twitter got hacked. But but just where you at. I know you got kids. You already talked about making a legacy family, and man, it's just I didn't want to come out and ask because I just wanted to wait to hear it on the podcast.
Right,
man, I want to see what he. You know, your kids are super talented and stuff. I'm like, dang, let's see what it is. So,
hey, man, I appreciate you asking, man. When I retired from the NFL, again, man, there's so many different. I'm so complex as a human being, man. So like people try to put you in different compartments, man, and they try to say, "Oh, he's just a ball player." And you got to understand, like, I don't know how you was, man. I was shy. You know
I'm not shy, but
but I'm just saying, like, I'm not.
If I don't know why you shy though. The way you sing, I'll be walking around singing.
Right? No, listen. But no, man. You know what I mean? I'm one of them dudes. Like I have to get to know you.
Yeah.
And then once I know you, like I'm the clown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm messing with you.
That's kind of how my brother is, though.
Right.
My brother we even took a family photo on Instagram, and one of my homies made a comment like, "Why Jason always like looking so business-like?"
Right.
He literally in the photo like,
right, money.
I'm like, we had a birthday party, Jay. Like, I had to pull even the photo. He was so far back. I'm like, bro, get over here.
Right, man. But I'm naturally an introvert, man. I'm a Sagittarius, so there's a lot that goes in with that. But like I was saying, man, when I retired, man, it was back to the morals and the values and the foundation that I grew up on, man. And that was faith, that was family. And I knew how much it meant to me. And, you know, we hit on it earlier about my mother. You know, my mother came from a family where there was 12 girls, 5 boys. Dang. You know what I mean? And then my dad also came from a large family where, you know, there were 6 children. And so you learn a lot about life, and it wasn't all good and it wasn't all bad, you know what I mean? But it was real. Yeah. And so basically, you know, I wanted to start my family, and I wanted to start it early, man, even for like these moments like today, man. My son's going to be a freshman in high school. I'm almost on my last couple of years of being able to run around, but it's still cool to sort of at least feel young, to see him, you know, grow up and be a young man. So, again, I've been married 15 years to my wife.
That's what's up.
Man, we've been in Pennsylvania for 13. Now, I've been traveling around as a consultant in the oil and gas industry. So, you know, I mean, I go where I go. Yeah. You know what I mean? But home base has been in Pennsylvania. You know, my wife and I, we've had 6 kids. Our very first son passed away shortly after birth. And so that puts you
16 right now?
Yeah, he'd be 16. Wow. And so, again, that puts you at an adverse situation. You know, that puts you in a situation where, you know, you're at a point in your life where you're happy. You know what I mean? You're a rookie. You got money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everybody's telling you, like, hey, man, this is one heck of an opportunity. But that pain that I felt and losing my son, man, like man, that about broke me down. Like, and not just during that time, but I'm talking about years after, even now. You know what I mean? Here we are coming up on July again, and July 19th, man. Like, I really need good support around me because it's tough. Yeah, you know what I mean? But you know, my wife and I are strong individuals, and you know, stayed in prayer even down, you know, because she was with me down even in New Orleans and whatnot, and we kept at it, man, and have 5 beautiful children, man. We have a son, Braden, who's 14 years old, about to be a freshman at Pittsburgh Central Catholic. You know, a great kid who's working on his faith, working on his academics, and making an impact. And again, you know, he's doing sports, but the impact, like my mother and father always said, is as a person, man. You know, make an impact. Make sure that when you step in a room, man, they remember you. Don't just be a floating soul. And then we had 4, we followed up with 4 beautiful daughters. Mackenzie, who's 12 years old.
She the one on the AAU team?
She's man, we're starting to look alike. We definitely act alike. We spent a lot of time together when she was a baby, man. And so it's just she's a dog, man. You know what I mean? Like she there's certain kids that you have to be like, come on, it's okay, go on out there, out there. And then there's kids who you have to like literally pull back, like, and I'm a dog, so I'm gonna be in the background smiling, like, you see what could happen. That's her. But the beautifulness in that is that, as a man, you think that's gonna come in a son.
Yeah.
And my son's a dog in his own right, but I'm just saying, as far as personalities who I can relate to, where it's unspoken, like whether we're at a family event or a sports event, I can look at Mackenzie and we catch on, we know exactly what we're thinking. What I mean? We're connected like that. Yep. And so, she's doing her thing. She's at Greensburg Central Catholic, a phenomenal young girl, man. Like, she's really changed my life, because boys, you sort of know how boys are going to be, but she's different. And you got to understand that I'm not Cie Grant to her. I'm daddy. You know what I mean? And she has a way, exactly, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and I'm not super, super sensitive, but she's changed all that. You know what I mean? Like, we have real dialogue and conversation at 12. And same thing with all my kids, but I'm saying, like, it's deep. She doesn't mind letting me know where she's at and what she's feeling. So I love that.
That means you've done a good job.
Well, man, I have a good wife and I have good people around me, man. Yeah. That I was always taught that as a kid, man. It's important who you hang with and who you keep in your circle, man. So I've been blessed, because I've had my moments where I've looked at the circle like, man, I'm glad I have y'all. I'm glad I had y'all. I'm out here tripping. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you have Mackenzie, who's 12 years old. You have Marley, who's 8. She reminds me the most of my mother. She looks like the Lowrys, just a sweetheart. You know what I mean? Now, she's a hooper now. Really? She's a beautiful person. I mean, I don't want to just make it out like my kids are athletes, but it's just funny because we're in the midst of all this, and Marley is she's like me in that way where she's shy. She's a loving person. She loves YouTube. You know what I mean? We have to watch and make sure. But
I love YouTube.
Yeah. But I mean, she loves it to the point to where I'm like, hey, I miss my TV a little bit. You have a TV in your room, but you like to watch it here.
That's how my son is, man. He get like offended if I try to watch. I'm like, this is the family TV,
right? But you know why I knew it was messed up? When I started feeling scared. When I was like, well, how do I come at her about needing to get back on my TV, because she's very because she'll drop, she'll look at me a certain way, like, there's like 10 minutes left and you should work on your patience. You know what I mean? She's very on it. But in the flip side, in basketball, man, which is her thing, and swimming, one thing I found out about her, and again, through dialogue and communication, is we talk about being a teammate. And I said, I would have a hard time being your teammate. And she said, well, why? I said, because you shoot all the time. And when I pass to you, you won't pass it back. And she says, but I make it. So get under the hoop. You need to get in position, see the flight of the ball. She's one of those 8-year-olds where you're looking at like, it doesn't match up like your personality and being an athlete. But I love that. Yeah. And she also has her way of tugging at my heart, man. And then Milani, she's 4 years old, and I know I'm being long-winded.
Hey, but it's all good. We ain't seen each other. What you said, 12 years? So,
at least that.
Let it roll.
So Milani's 4 years old, man. She's a spitting image of my wife, but she has my personality through and through. Like, she's one of the ones that, usually if I have to like say something or look. You know what I mean? Like get serious. Yeah. Like the other kids, like they know, like, okay. Because I don't really want to say nothing. You know what I mean? I say stuff behind doors like, hey, this is how we need to, this is how I want y'all to, I want y'all to be good people. You know what I mean? When I see you doing something, it shouldn't always have to be me talking to you. You know what I mean? You should be able to look at you and be like, hey, cool it a little bit. Yeah. She doesn't care about all that.
That's how my daughter is, Peyton. I mean, she only won, but Peyton is,
right. But she looks at me like, she'll look at me like, okay, I see what you're saying, but this sort of trumps, you know, from what I'm feeling emotionally, this trumps what you're saying. Like, that makes sense for them. Like, for those other 4 kids, you know, that's what they should do. And she'll stand beside me and be like, y'all hear him? He wants y'all to do that. I'm like, no. I want them and you. Yeah. Now it's a problem. You know what I mean? So I'm dealing with a 4-year-old going on 21. And, you know what I mean? And then we have the baby there, Amara. And one thing that I learned through having, you know, I guess a bunch of kids is the babies grow up faster and faster because they have this older siblings to, you know, when they see them run around, they want to run around. So it's more important to those babies to learn, like, hey, I need to get on my feet. Yep. You know what I mean? So now I have the little one walking around. We're constantly, like, my wife and I are like telling her, like, please be the baby. Like, this needs to be it. Like, please be the baby so we can enjoy this. This is our last, you know, and she's like, nah, man, like, I need to be where they're at. Yep. You know what I mean? And so, like, just like today at the pool, I mean, while the kids were in the pool, she's in the baby little hamper, and she's having a good time. So they're splashing her in the hamper from the pool, and she's sitting there watching them having a good time. So, you know, she just wants to get out there. But man, we have 5 beautiful kids, man, and we just, you know, they're our greatest investment, man. And I've had to go, you know, head to head. I've had to have conversations with people that have taken me out of my comfort zone. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, I'm serious about my kids. Yeah. You know what I can see that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
In the way you described them.
Right. Yeah, I'm serious. So I know them. So it's like, even as a teacher, like, when you go telling me something that's going on with my kids, it needs to, you know, because I have, like, for real, it's built on communication and dialogue. Like, I don't want something to happen and me just really not, like, thought I knew and didn't know. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm serious about them. I get that from my mom. And I'm really, along with my wife, trying to set them on a path for them. I see a lot of parents live through their kids, and I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but the good Lord made us all, none of us, if we took our fingerprints, none of us are the same. Yep. So in his mind of creating each and every one of us, it was for a specific purpose. And so as a parent, we're out of the box thinkers. I'm not saying we have everything right, but we're just, you know, we're looking at our kids saying, hey, what we have to pay attention to them to find out what their niche is, what they naturally like, and then what they need to sort of know a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I told them, you know, like, for instance, like, my son, he plays sports, and so does the other girls. I mean, so does my daughter. So I'm like, listen, this is a certain mindset. This is how my mindset was, but you need to find yours. Yeah. You know, and that's in everything. Like, don't compare that, because our grades was one way and yours need to be this. No, man, our job is to get them to be the best person that they can be and find themselves.
But Perci, man, he is just like me. And he's like, you know, kind of, I don't want to say we soft, but we love, right, and our feelings get hurt. So at Perci, I'll literally look at him and how my dad used to look at me, and I'm like, oh, hell. Right. But the daughter, like, I don't know what to do with her. Like, right, she almost like, yeah, that works for him, but for me, I don't know what you gonna do because I'm on my own thing over here. Right. She just out of here.
Right. But you know, even in you saying that, that hits on another thing, man. There are kids, but man, they're individual people. Yep. And that's what it is. Like, what may work on one kid may not even be an option when it comes to, you know, dealing with the other one. You know what I mean? And so it makes you have to grow as a person. Yes. You know, I mean, if you're going to do it the right way, man, if you're going to give them a chance. Yeah, for sure. And, you know what I mean? And both of us are cut from that cloth where, you know what I mean, family's big. Yes. You know what I mean? And also, like, my wife too, man. Like, this isn't.
I wanted to get to the
right. I got to thinking, I was like, man, you know, you don't do this by yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely don't, man. And just being that strong backbone, man, over the years. Like I said, you know, my wife was with me in New Orleans and going through all that. You know how it is when it's well, my situation was injuries. You know what I mean?
I knew that, but also, I mean, with Katrina, you were probably
I was down there in Katrina too, man, and you know, evacuating and you know, just that uncertainty, man. And I was talking about that, you know, today on Twitter. Like, I can deal with good, I can deal with bad, but uncertainty, I don't like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's hard to tolerate. And so, like, when you have like your best friend, man, you have somebody that loves you and who you love, man, you know, supporting you through those times. Because, like, I'm not here to paint everything like everything has been like gravy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a human being. So, like, as sure as, you know, even our listeners are, you know, things happen. Like, you know, you have things happen in your life, man, that are like trials and tribulations and adverse situations that you're sitting there like pulling your hair out like, yo, what the hell's going on? And in the streets, you're like a king.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? So, and I'm an introvert, so that pushed me even further into being an introvert. And you know what I mean? Like, you go through things like, you know, we lost, you know, our first child, man, you know, and then like a year or so later lose my mom. Yeah. And, you know, those are the things, like I was talking about earlier, you don't plan for that, man. Like, you know, if it was up to me, everybody would still be intact, you know. Sure. And so just having that backbone, and then, you know, the way she is with our kids, man, like, it's dope, man. Like, you know, there's times where I want to, you know, I'm caught in the moment, like, yo, this is what needs to happen. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean. I'm all like, oh, this is what needs to happen. Like, believe me. Yeah. And she's like, listen, these, you know, like, there's times hey, these my kids. You know what I mean? I know them. I know. You know what I mean? I carried them. Yeah. You have to respect that. You know what I mean?
I struggle with that just because I know how I was and I know my weaknesses.
Right.
So I want to make sure Perci is like a beast at that part. Like, he was talking about you and, you know, your daughter, how y'all dogs. Like, that was, I had to get bit before I turned into a dog, you know, and I hated that about myself. Right. Like, it would take one good hit in a game and I'm like, all right, it's on. Now, I know I was a quarterback and stuff, but I still, like, I would go into a different element. I would do stuff unnecessary. I'd have open field, but I saw a defender. I'm like, I'm going to get this dude.
I need this contact. Right.
And I always wanted to be like, you know, I talked about the dudes who was I was envy of the dudes that was just out there free playing.
Right.
And like in football, I never was like, you know, but I don't know if that's a product of Coach If just destroying me with like practicing the plays and doing all that. And I played every position. It was kind of illegal. Like Coach If, I played freshman and JV as a freshman, 4 quarters both game.
Wow.
As a sophomore, I played JV and varsity, 4 quarters both games.
Wow.
No one ever said anything. Like the other teams, they didn't care. So on varsity, my sophomore year, I was a receiver, you know, and you probably are aware of my speed, so I wasn't really I didn't have that Cie Grant speed.
No, man. Hey, but you had hands, man.
Yeah, I could catch the ball.
Right.
But and then I would play JV quarterback. So I think that kind of helped me. Once I got to be the quarterback, I was just like, man, this is in my sleep. I know what's going to happen.
Right.
In high school, ain't no intricate defenses. You know, when you got to college, maybe the NFL, well, for sure the NFL, y'all was playing half coverages. Over here, y'all playing cover 3, and over here we manning up, or just different stuff like that. In high school, I'm coming like 2 safeties, cover 6, easy. I know exactly where I'm going.
Right. And that's how you play.
Yeah, it was just so easy, man. And then, you know, once I got to college, it was a little bit different, but my confidence in college was – are you familiar with Nate Davis?
Yeah.
So he was the quarterback ahead of me. When I got to Ball State, he came to me and was like, hey, I heard all this stuff, you know, about you and how you're better than me. You know, I'm just going to let you know you ain't taking my spot.
Oh, okay.
But he was cool. He wasn't like he was cool with me.
Right.
But he just had to set the precedence. Like, come on now. I'm like, dang, for real? Nate heard that about me? Right. So I should have already been thinking that, but it took baseball, so many different things can happen on one play. Like, I'm just like, sometimes I'm out there and I'm just like a slave to my own thoughts.
Right.
And I hated that. And I would envy other players. And I'm just like, bruh, like, that dude is out there just firing that thing. He ain't got nothing on his mind. And I'm like, man, I envy that. And so I would have moments where I'm like, obviously 2016 when I got called up, I was just like, Lord, whatever you doing, keep it up. Because this is I felt like the best pitcher, man. I was like, dude, like, this is crazy. Ain't nobody hit me. I'm throwing hard. I don't care.
Right.
Because I was literally almost like in my mind, I thought I was gonna get released out of that spring training in 2016. I was straight booty. And I was like, man, this is bad. And, you know, my teammates, you know, I don't want this to sound terrible, but everyone loves me, man. Like, they tell me, like, bro, come on now. You going to be here. You going to be here. Right, you know, we can't play without you.
Right.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, right. The Indians, I'm pretty sure they going to go on without Perci. But, yeah, so I was like, man, this is crazy. They didn't release me. They sent me to Akron, and I'm like, cool. I'm like, you know what? This could be my last year. I'm just going to play.
Right.
And then next thing you know, they're like, you going to Cleveland? I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I literally was just released in 2015. Team saying, you know what? We don't want you no more.
Right.
Caught me off guard, but they was like, we don't want you no more. So I was just like, man.
Yeah. But you know what? From getting that from you, it was a test. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was not just testing you as a man, but it was like testing your faith. To see that, like, yo, you know, because God tests all of us. So it's like, okay, it sounds good when things are going good. And it even sounds good when things are going bad. And you like persistent, like, Lord, please, please, please.
Yep.
But when something happens and you're like, whoa, like that really just happened, it's a test. And you can either see it through, you know what I mean, because it's an adverse situation, or you can or you can sort of like, you know, get like shell shocked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it also shows you too that in life you can't really plan life, man, the way that, you know, because I'm 40 years old, so like, you know,
what'd you say? No,
yeah, man. Hey, actually, it's a blessing.
Hey,
it's a blessing. But hey, nah, man, like, you know what I mean? You get a chance to see things, and you know, you also know that you have to see things through, man.
Yeah.
And if you'll continue to keep that faith through the adverse situation, it's amazing what God will bring you through. Because like my story, like I always say, people get to see the moments, man. You get to see like moments, but you don't see that grind. You don't see the breaking points and how many times an athlete, and I can only imagine, like I want to pick your brain about baseball because, you know, just like you said, so much can happen on one play.
Yeah. But
man, you know, just seeing it through. And understanding that if you take one step, he'll take two, and God understands your total. He understands your total package. He understands your total body of work. So, like, a team may only see a little bit of your work due to film. Family members only may see a little bit, but you know it all, and he knows it all. And at the end of the day, we all have our own relationship with him, man, and he understands what we all need, man. That's what makes him magnificent.
It ain't always what we want,
right? You know what I mean? Right?
So you'll mess yourself up, like, you know, I want this right now, and and he like, chill, I got this. Because when I got drafted, I was like, all right. You know, and to be honest, I was kind of crazy. I wasn't like buying homes or nothing, but I bought a decent car for myself. I didn't go crazy, you know, but then I bought my sister a car, my mom a car, my other sister a car, and I'm just got them all on my phone bill, buying them all J's, because I'm like 2 years, 3 years, I'm going to be making millions. I'm going to be straight, you know. But it was a shallow confidence, because deep down, I didn't really believe that. I was more like, you know, like, I hope I make it, you know, because I'm doing this, you know, and I want to take care of my family. That's the reason, you know. And my grandma like, boy, you better not be, you know. Right. But I had to, you know, and I know my dad would have not let me do it. He'd be like, no, I'm good, you know, him being the man and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, watching video like James Conner buying that truck for his dad, and I was just like, man, I would have.
I mean, and you know what, man, speaking of that video, that video was dope.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? Just the, you know, the unspoken giddiness.
Yeah.
You could tell there was
His dad couldn't even talk.
Right, he couldn't even talk. And there was something about them saying, like, it's all black. I heard them say it like a couple different times, and it just giggled. And you know, if you have a relationship with someone like that, or a figure like that, man, you know what it is, man. There's a lot of unspoken, and that's the beauty in it. And I think any athlete, that's what you want, you know, especially us from the Black community, man. Like, you know, I don't know too many of us really grew up like the things I see, even with that my kids are fortunate to have right now. You know what I mean? So, you know, you see so much adverse situations, and again, we're not from an area, at least during our time, to where there was a lot of people who, you know, like I even talked to like Kenny Peterson, who went to McKinley. Like, you've seen cats come out you know, year after year. So when you're out there, you know, and I thought about what you said, like sometimes you're out there on the island alone, and as much as a family member wants to help you, and they're offering themselves, you know, you're not trying to be disrespectful, but you're just like, yo, you really don't understand this. And just pray for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the best you can do, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, man, like when I was out there, all the thoughts that I'd have, I'm like, why am I having these thoughts? You know, I don't need to be the savior for T County, but I would always think about the athletes that came before me, like, obviously you did it, but before you did it, most of the athletes were right there. They were good enough, talented enough, but an injury or something like, obviously your career was cut short, and I don't know, we'll get into that. But I just know, I was like, man, I gotta make it, just because, you know, so many people that was talented before me, something happened and it wasn't able to, you know, but the craziness when all the people came out for my debut, like, man, it was. You know, I had people saying, "Cuz that ain't really my cuz."
Right. Oh yeah.
I'm in the bullpen, and the security guard's like, "Hey, Percy, your cousin is up here." I'm like, "No, it's not."
Like, hey, it's amazing how many new family members you get throughout the process, and it doesn't matter how many rookie symposiums or et cetera they put you through. You know, they tell you it's going to happen, and you're like, all right, it may happen, like, but then when it happens, you know what I mean? Like, just like you said, like, come on, man.
The Indians actually gave us a book on how to say no to people that want to, you know, just kind of, you know, and it's obviously with our personalities, people just gravitate to us naturally. And then when we do great things, it's more like, it's just the gravitational pull is so much stronger.
It is.
And it was just like, I'm like, dang, they giving us a book on how to say no. I'm like, this is crazy. And it would just tell you, not like say no technically, but like, hey, can I get tickets to the game? Because a lot of people don't know, when I was in the minor leagues, I would write 30 names on the list because it didn't matter. It was free. When you get to the big leagues and you start, you've got to pay taxes on all those tickets. I don't know if the NFL is the same.
Yeah, same way. And then state to state. Whatever it is, state to state.
If you go to New York, you like, oh my
Yeah, you see the taxes come out. Hey, man, bro. First year, my rookie year, when I paid taxes, I'm telling you, man, like, it blew my mind. I'm not going to get into that detail, man. But when you start paying taxes on millions of dollars, man, and like I said, man, like, it doesn't matter how much college you have, like, it doesn't prepare you for that. I can remember talking to my parents, and that's weird because, like, you try to go to whoever your guardians are or people who have helped you for guidance, but when they tell you, like, hey, you know that the amount of money on that is more I made in the past, you know you're out there again on that island. But no, man. It's just so much that you go through. And Percy, just to hit on what you were talking about, I feel you totally about embodying Tuscarawas County back home and hearing those stories, you know what I mean, through elders, through people who played with different people. And like you said, for some reason, some way, shape, or form, it just doesn't sort of hit the way that it was supposed to hit, or people feel that way. And so when you follow that and you have a sense of pride and you want to, and you're a man's man, just like you said, you want to take care of family. If you can have it your way, you take care of everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You be looking at people like, man, it's not even being envious because we've seen people in the locker room. It's about saying like, yo, man, like, this person is getting X amount, man. Yeah. They really selfish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they selfish. Like, yo, if I had that, like, I'll help everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But then again, you know, that's our will. Yep. We still got to get back on what God's will is. But as you live, you learn that, man. You go through cycles, so.
Man, hey, this is just so far, man. This has just been great. But
hey, man, I'm giddy, man. They can see us when I'm cheesing.
I know. I like my face is gonna hurt after this.
having my back, man. Just, you know, as I get older too, like this body, you know, I don't know, man, you know, at times. And, you know, and just the support, man, just to, you know, even going to the doctor and stuff, like mentally I feel 20-something.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm getting older and I need to go get these checkups.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that ain't me.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that's funny. When did you first realize, like, wow, I can't move like I used to? Like, when you tried to do a move and you was like,
actually, when I first realized it was like a couple years back, but I realized it like daily.
Oh,
because my son's always like, come on, man, let's throw, hey, run a couple routes. And then my mind plays tricks on me because my mind will get me going. Like, I'll have like 5-10 minutes where I'm feeling like good. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay.
Should I get back out there?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then you always have that 1 or 2 memories where you know, like you gave it to somebody. Like even with my son, we're competitive with each other. Like, I'm like, you know, I know this sounds terrible, you know, but I'm like, man, I served him last time. Like, come on, man. Like, you got 5 plays and you, like, give it to him. You know what I mean? This is a learning lesson. And I get out there and I realize that young man's getting strong. You know what I mean? Or either I'm getting weak. Yeah. So I'd like just say, hey, he's getting strong. But, you know, at this age, man, I was telling my wife today, I was like, that's a bad feeling when you laid down, say, for 6 hours and you wake up out of the bed feeling like you got your beat. Yeah. You know, like literally like, man, this isn't normal. Like or having those days where you're like, okay, I'm going to get warmed up here in a little bit. Like, I know that's unnormal for my leg to lock that way, but I'm going to, you know, just give it to about noon. I should be warmed up. And then it's like, it messes with you mentally, like when it's like 8 p.m. that same day and you're like, you know what, I never got warmed up. So that's where I'm at right now, to where I'm like, you know, I'm out in public like, man, you can't be limping around these people. Like, man, like, how many steps are from here to the front of this door right here? Because I got to hold together. So that's literally, I mean, that's just real where I'm at.
No, I just brought that up because, you know, Dover, we have the alumni game every Thanksgiving morning. Right. And, you know, Micah, he constantly plays. He plays against his players that he coaches. Right. And the funny thing about him, we was talking about this last time. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but he was like, look, right now I can look my players in the eyes and be like, look, this is how you do it. And then they don't do it. And I go, what, you don't believe me? Check. And then he shows them like, boom, this is what happened. Right. He's like, I love being able to do that. Right. But so Micah, he comes in those games and just dominates. I had to go to the old man court. Like, I thought I was going to terrorize these old men. Mm-hmm. And they like, yeah, Perci, come over here. I'm like, I got it easy. I'm with these old dudes. Right. And literally the first time I drove, and I tried to take off, I was like, man, I might need to go to the hospital. Right?
They're like, are you all right? You're like, nah, man, I just kind of pulled, so I think I'll be all right. I'm just going to go over here and stretch.
Yeah, and I just wasn't ready because I tried to do an aggressive move, and I was like, whoa, this ain't right. Right. And it happened before I was 30. So I knew, like, my doctor told me when I was younger, Dr. Kaczynski. He in Hawaii now, you know, good for you. But right. He told me when I was 16, look, and I had just got named. Coach If just told me, hey, you're going to be the starting quarterback for us coming next season. Mm-hmm. And Kaczynski was like, bruh, your knees are jacked up. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're 40, you're not going to have any cartilage in them, and you're going to need the replacements. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm 16, like, oh, okay, whatever, 40 is a long time. Right. He's like, we can do a surgery that might help you right now. And I'm like, bruh, I can't do no surgery. I just got named quarterback. I need to get to college. Right. So, and then all of a sudden, I'm 27, and this is after my call-up season, so I'm, like, riding high, and I'm like, 2017 is going to be my year. Right. And I get an injury in my wrist, deadlifting, being stupid. Yeah. You know, egoing with these young players. I'm like, oh, I can deadlift 600. Let's go. Right.
Weight room warrior.
Yeah. And next thing you know, hurt that, and then I hurt my meniscus, and they went in. Well, the Indians, like, I don't want to badmouth the Indians. I love the Indians. I'm always going to be a fan. Right. But they was like, you know what, you don't need surgery. We still believe in you, such and such. And, you know, I'm a grown man. They could just said, hey, look, we don't see a future, you know. But instead they had me gassed up like, no, we still there with you. Right. And then the way baseball works is it's a little different from football. So when you with a team and you're going into free agency, they are the only team that can contact you and then negotiate until 5 days after the World Series. So the minor league season was over.
Right.
And they were able to talk to me. Nothing. Crickets. So my agent gave me that talk like, you know, I know it didn't go right the way you wanted, you know,
Right.
and you're not a tier 1 free agent. So don't panic if you don't get no looks right away. You know, let them sign the big name guys and then we'll see where you fall.
Right.
And literally right at midnight, he got calls from 5 teams. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know,
Right.
One of the teams like, look, I was supposed to speak at Claymont, and I felt bad for this because it was like a career fair they had. They had Jim Trussell talking there last year, the year before, and I was like, come on, I'm supposed to talk before him. Like, follow Jim Trussell. Oh, man. So I was already scared, but then I went to Baltimore to get 4 MRIs. You've had an MRI before.
Right.
You know how long that – I have 4 of them things back to back to back to back. Awful.
Yeah.
Ended up missing the Claymont speech. Felt terrible. But they was like, look, you need surgery like ASAP. So I got surgery from Dr. Linda Curl, I think her name. She was the same one that gave Ray Lewis surgery. Okay. 12 minutes, boom, I'm out of there. 3 days later, I'm like, let's go. Yeah, but I still had to, you know, take my time. But
Right.
it just happened so much sooner than I had thought it was going to happen. And I'm like, dude, I'm 27. I'm falling apart already. And Kaczynski's like, well, you know, 16, we didn't know he's going to play professional sports and do all this stuff.
Right.
So it went a little faster. And,
exactly.
You know, my joints is all jacked up. But it was just crazy, man. But, I mean, how was your, like, was yours your hamstring and stuff going all wrong?
No, man. Mine was my knees, man.
Really?
I actually ruptured my patella tendon in my left knee. And so, and basically broke away bone from my kneecap, man. Like it was bad, man. And you know, the competitor in me is like, man, I'm trying to get back.
Yeah.
I mean, I went out to Vail, Colorado. I had Dr. Richard Stedman do the surgery and whatnot. And you know, I worked my ass off to get back, but again, you know, that was my will to want to play, you know, football and try to like, and then it gave me time to think, like, you know, is this the only way that you think that you can succeed in life? Like it puts you in gut check time. But no, man, it was my left patella tendon, and then you know how it is. Like when you're gimping on one leg, it affects other body parts. So next thing you know, now you're getting nagging injuries with a real injury, or you know what I mean? And you know, it got to a point to where like my body, you only have one body, man, and it broke down. And you know, I think back. Like, and I guess that's the reason why I am the way I am with my kids. I can see where my body broke down. Like when you think about it, like when you're young, you think like, man, I'm good. Because when you're young, you good.
Yeah.
You know, there's proof like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not.
Right. And so even with that, like in the dialogue with my kids, I'm like, yo, man, I want you to be kids, but I want you to already start to get that business sense. You know what I mean? Understand like how you and I were talking, Perci. Like we, you know, when other people have more confident or expectation out of you than you have in yourself, you know, I guess that happens, but man, I'm trying to reverse that. Yeah. I want my kids to walk into a room and not feel like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get them those experiences early. For sure. And so, I mean, it's just, it just depends on how you go about everything. But just trying to take the good and the bad that came out of my situation and trying to make it positive for whether it's my kids or whoever. Yeah. Because, you know, there's things I could have done better.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, like you were talking, saying you don't want to badmouth the Indians. Like, my situation is different, man. Like, you know, I felt like, you know, first of all, like I was blessed throughout high school and college. I really didn't deal with a whole bunch of like injuries. Like there's a difference between hurt and injury. Yeah. I wasn't really injured. Yeah. But when my body really started to break down was when it wasn't just about playing for the Quakers. It wasn't just about playing college ball. It was money involved. Yeah. You're an investment.
Yep.
And so like where I'm from, where you're from, small town, when I go see a doctor, Your job is to be a healthcare provider.
Yeah.
I'm there looking for answers and truthful answers at that from you.
Yeah.
So that I can continue on and do whatever it is that I need to go and do. That's where it got ugly for me in the NFL, to where it's like I'm looking for like that home, like that Tuscarawas County, Franklin County, and Columbus treatment, to where they're like, okay, we understand that we're going to tell you the truth. Well, what it was about an investment. He's a third-round draft pick. We've given him X amount of money. We need him on the field.
Yeah.
How bad is it? Well, tell him this and tell him that. Well, I have demons, man. I have trust issues. So once like the trust is gone, like there's nothing from me. So now
that's just straight up just
right
disrespect. Like,
yeah, man. So I'm looking at you with the crooked eye, and I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
So you ain't talking to me like crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't care what the grades were growing up. There's a reason behind that too. Hopefully we can get into that.
Yeah.
But you know, when I'm looking, I've always been that way with trust everybody. Like, I'm grown. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and I have real issues. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be all over the place, but
hey, we here, we conversating.
Right. So yeah, and
this
that's
is a little bit different.
Yeah,
than what I've been doing.
It's a beautiful thing, man. But so like when those doctors could look me in the face and lie to me all because of business, knowing that, you know, I have a wife, and knowing that we're starting a young family, and understand, and, you know, and then me too, man, my background, like, you know, this is a different pace in Tuscarawas County than Columbus, and Columbus is a different pace than New Orleans.
Yeah.
And so like when I see people, like I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like,
that's what they teach us here.
Yeah.
You know, people here, you know.
You know what I mean? So when that happened, man, it started to burn some bridges, and of course the talent was there. Like, that was never an issue. It's just like, yo, I'm hearing this from the doctor, I'm hearing this from you. So there's a frustration with everybody. And again, when you throw money into a situation, you know, it is what it is. But you know, I felt like my career could have continued on. Like, let me know, like, there's a tear in the patella tendon. Don't let me go rupture it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you want my out there for 6 weeks. You know what I mean? And then that, I'm a principal individual.
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't do that. So, like, I really take issue when it's like, I wouldn't do that to you. Like, why, you know, why would you do that to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you start thinking in your head, like, come on,
right?
Man. Like that's just not right.
Yeah, like my leg ain't feeling right. They're telling me, and so like, you know, whenever you do believe healthcare, you know, doctors and trainers, you're like, they're telling me this. I should be feeling good. I should be feeling better.
Yeah.
And then you have to get like second opinions and different things, because when you're young, you want to be out there. You know, like, I got people to prove in Tuscarawas County and Columbus. I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, it happened. The body broke down. I think I could have made better moves, you know, and I think that they could have made better moves. At the end of the day, they're alive. I'm alive. Go get it. You know, one of the things I've learned, man, is like, man, the beauty of life, man, is getting up every day, man. God granting, like your day starts blessed, man. Like, be blessed. Like, you know, is there carryover from the day before when it was stressful and you was ripping and running and like, here another day of this, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, but understand that, like I tell people when I'm consulting, you know, early in the morning at 6:30, people were scraggling in and they don't want to hear it. But I'm like, listen, man, we're ungrateful, man, up in here today. Like, do you understand how many people went to sleep last night with intent on waking up and, you know, ripping and running, going from point A to B, and didn't wake up?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you woke up and that's the first thing out your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, are you serious?
And I just, playing baseball, I had that teammates that's,
right.
I don't want to go to the park today. I'm like, listen to what you just said. You just said park.
Right. We out here doing a glorified recess. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of business in it, but
yeah.
You know,
but at that point, I'm like, yeah, we eating peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, we ain't making no money.
Right.
But, you know, it was easier for me to talk because I was a high draft pick. So I was living off my signing bonus.
And they let you know it too, didn't they?
They're like, okay, second rounder. But it was just it's sort of a perspective thing. You gotta, and it's hard to trick the mind because the mind is always in survival mode and trying to figure out, you know, you know, but
especially in those environments.
Yeah, and we complainers.
Oh man, hey,
we quick to figure out a way to justify what we we want to do.
Yeah, man, and you know what, man? Like I always tell my kids, like it's a gauntlet, man. Like careful what you wish for. It's a gauntlet. Like make sure that you're taking. Like my mom used to say, like, yo, quit worrying about what's gonna happen. Start getting prepared for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'm gonna hit on a couple of things that she has said because, like, literally, like it's part of the foundation,
That's
man.
What's up.
Like if I could say something that sparks somebody, be like, oh, I want it to spark them.
And that's what it takes sometimes. Sometimes it just takes a different mouth. Like when I don't know how it is with your kids, but I play professional baseball, right?
Right.
And for my son, for him to look at me and go, yeah, Dad, you know, you played or whatever, but I want to play like Braden, his cousin, who is 12 right now. Right. Who I'm like, boy, you want to play like Braden?
Right? You almost feel disrespected.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
You like, where the tape? Yeah. Let me show you.
I did have to. So Daniel sent me a clip of my All Ohio video.
Right.
And I went over to the son like, Perci, look.
Yeah. Hey, we have those moments, man. It's natural.
Gotta remind them.
Yeah, you have to. It's like, hey, man, look in the mirror and then like, where do you think you came from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, I mean, again, that's almost a beautiful thing too, because it's their innocence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but like you say with your daughter, you ain't Cie Grant, you dad. And it's good though. You don't want them to look at.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a funny quick story. I remember I was leaving the locker room, right? And I had just got called up. So all the fans kind of I'm going back. First thing, I'm going back to my Toyota Corolla. You know, we got Range Rovers and Lamborghinis.
Right.
Trevor Bauer had what's that car? A McLaren and all these crazy. And I got the Corolla. And I'm just like, all right, let me just get out of here real quick.
Right.
And all the fans wrapped around my car like, Perci. And my son, I think it was 2016, so he's 3. And he's like, sorry, guys, I got to get home. I can't give you guys any autographs. I'm like dying. I'm dying, man.
You said him,
and there's a couple other times where kids are asking for my autograph, and he's with me. He starts crying like, Dad, I want your autograph too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, boy.
Right. Like, I'm your.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You got me every night.
Right. But those are cool interactions, man.
I guess we can do a little moment. So we deep into this thing now, but I did go to social media and ask for some questions. Let's just go through some. I guess some of these are so obvious. Obviously these are the questions people would have. But Buck Hickman says, "What was in your head when you was closing in on Ken Dorsey?"
Oh man,
it was so long ago. Do you even remember?
Oh, I do. You know what? I actually do. Man, so much is going through my head. So bear with me on this, man. I was just telling someone like I can remember that whole game, man. Mark D'Antonio is our D coordinator, and I'm like, yo, man,
really?
He's
the D coordinator?
Yeah, hey, hold on, let me map out this defense coaching staff real quick. Of course, Coach Tress, the head dude, but. Coach Mark D'Antonio was the defensive coordinator. We had Coach Jim Haycock, who was the D-line coach, along with Luke Fickle, who's at Cincinnati.
Wow.
We had Mel Tucker as the secondary coach, who's at Michigan State now. And then we also had Mark Snyder as the linebacker coach. So, like, yeah, I mean, now. But then they thought, like, Mighty Miami and whatever. But
true.
But no, man, that was definitely the defensive staff that had us going. Man, I'm tripping, man. What was the question? I'm tripping. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
I like it.
I'm gonna be honest.
It was what was going through your head.
Oh, what was going through my head? So again, I was telling Coach D'Antonio, like, yo, man, like, get these plays called, get some blitzes called. So I can remember, and you know how it is, like, core units are close, but then like that position room is close. Yeah.
Yep.
And so like with Matt Wilhelm being, our middle linebacker and the guy who did the play calling, he got the call and he had looked at me, man. We locked eyes, and it was before he said it, was like, yo, it's your moment, like almost. And so he calls tight Will Tulsa, my man Will Smith. Like anybody knows Will, man. Will's a man of action. Like, if Will got to talk to you, it's a problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But, he says so much with his eyes, man. And he looked over his shoulder like, almost like, you know what time it is. And so when we say ready, break, again, you don't know. Of course, based off of the defensive play calls, you know, if they're in I formation, twins, et cetera.
Yeah.
But when when Miami's offense had broke, you know, like, man, this is big time ball. So like, I can't just, you know, I'm supposed to blitz off the edge, but I can't just be like showing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I remember like, okay, I got to disguise, bruh. Like, and you can't, like, I'm in a situation where there's no tight end there. Winslow's not there. They have no offset back. Really? So like, you know, none of us, you know, I'm thinking like, yo, man, if you disguise too quick, they're gonna call, you know, Ken's gonna call timeout. Yep. So I was like, yo, man, you gotta make this right, yo. And so I can remember him getting under center, and once he got into his cadence, man, I sort of like tried to sneak out to the outside. And bruh, and then that was like when that was surreal moment was, Percy. Like where it's like boom, 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 boom. Like that movie stuff. Like I'm like, whoa, like, you know, all I mean, it's going through my head. Yeah. And it's like boom. And literally I'm thinking about the things like how we talked about earlier, like, yo, Tuscarawas County, New Philly, Dover, Claymont, the whole area. Yeah. You know, Grant, that last name on the jersey, that little block O on the front, the guys, you know, the unit, like it ain't what the fans know of them. It's the walks on the block. Yeah, you know what I mean? Going up there
early
chilling.
Morning workouts.
That grind when you're looking up at Morrow and Lincoln Tower, like everybody sleep. Like man, it was so bad for me. Like I could literally dream, like have like cold nightmares of like my coaches, like during winter conditioning. Like we had to, you know, winter conditioning start at 5 a.m. I'm waking up at 3, like I'm late. I'm waking Nate Clements up, like, Nate, get up, man. And he's like, man, we late. And then, like, man, you tripping. Yeah, that's what's going on.
I've done that a few times. I woke up at night, walking out like, they're like, what you doing? I'm like, bro, it's 9 o'clock. They're like, yeah, p.m. I'm like, oh, snap. Because I done accidentally fell asleep.
But nah, man, you have all that going through your mind, man, and I'm thinking about like all the sacrifices, all the all the hard work. Because again, like my journey through Ohio State was not like no red carpet, man. Like I had to go get it. Yeah. And I was just thinking about everything, man. And then finally I was thinking like, yo, man, this guy is 6'7", 350-some pounds. Like he's in a 3-point stance, like on everything. See, like talking to myself like, yo, if he gets back into a blocking position and beats you off a blitz, shame on you, man. Like this is your moment. Like, you know what I mean? But I got to thank my parents because they always said like, yo, know when you're in the moment, man, and live that moment. Because, you know, Percy, a lot of people don't know that they're in a moment. Yeah. And until after it's done, until after they like sitting there pulling their hair like, man, I just wish I could have. Yes. But I, man, thank God, man. But I felt that. And I was like, you know what I mean? Like, and then there's a confidence, like, you know what I mean? Because we were a selfless group and we all knew, you know, like whoever's name was called, let's do our job so the play can get off. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's not be hero ball.
That's what's beautiful about football.
Yeah, man. And you can't do it alone. I don't care who is who. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, if you that, then we all get off the field and you do it. Yeah. It doesn't happen, you know what I mean? So, you know, coming off the edge, you know, like in that game, and I had broke my ribs on the right side and my right pinky, man. Like McGee about tore it off, man. But really? During that moment, man, that pain doesn't hurt as bad, Percy. It's like, yo, man, come on. Like everything. And so, like, once I got my hands on him, man, the big thing, you know, it was state law. I always say, like, yo, it's state law. Like, it doesn't matter how pretty of a tackle it is. I'm that player telling the coach, he on the ground. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you see the ref is placing that ball right there. Yeah, did I roll my hips? No, I made a horse collar tackle. Yeah. It's on the ground. You know what I mean? Ain't that what you're asking? Cool. Comprehendo. We good, right? Who else you want me to hit? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just like, was it like the Vilma hits? Was it, you know, nah, but it, you know, he went to the ground, and of course, you know, I didn't hear anything. Like, even when I had slung him to the ground, you know, I said some sweet nothings to him, but and I was walking off the field. It wasn't until Coach Mark not Coach Mark D'Antoni, but Coach Mark Snyder came up, and when he embraced me, that's when I could hear like the pandemonium.
I remember that too.
And it's like, because I'm literally, if you watch it, man, like I'm walking away from Dorsey, and it's like boom, push back into the situation, like man, do you know, do you know, and it's like you really can't comprehend, because like honestly, going into that, I wouldn't be thinking like almost 2 decades later that it would even matter, dog. And man, if I could just sort of end on this, man, I know you had mentioned the CARMEN, Ohio, man. I'm gonna give y'all the last line of that.
Oh shoot!
You know what I mean? Because I'm not a mean guy. I know some people are sitting like when they hear this, they're gonna be like what? Like what? But nah, man. I wanted to do the last line of CARMEN, man. I understand how important it is to me. I understand how important it is to Buckeye Nation and also the great state of Ohio, man. So I'm going to do this last line, and if Perci allowed me just a minute or two just to do some closing remarks, because I don't want, you know what I mean, I appreciate that, and I'll get back on this road.
Of course.
But here goes, Perci, I got to give you this story real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
The story behind CARMEN, Ohio, people, man, like it's all put out like it's like, oh man, this is an awesome story from the national championship team. There is a story behind that. And I'll, check the book out and you'll get to know that. But here's this last line right here.
He played me. I was on that hook. Like,
Here it is. No, there's a story though. All right, here it is. Time and change will surely show how firm thy friendship, Ohio. I apologize about my voice, man, coaching and screaming this weekend, but there you have it, man. And nothing but love for Ohio State, man, this great state of Ohio. But just to end this cast, man, like a lot of y'all don't know, probably don't know, man, I've known Perci a number of years. 12 years ago was probably the last time I saw him. But we both been busy, but I've known this man, since he's like a little jit running around, man. And I want y'all to know, Dover, Tuscarawas County, man, this is a special man. He went from being a special kid to a special man. And I mean that, Perci. Like this isn't no bull. Like I appreciate your words of encouragement as a 7 and 8 year old kid, man. And like I was telling you the other night on the phone, like God uses however he wants. Meaning, if he wants to send it through a baby to tell me clear as day, like, hey, Jesus loves you, he'll do that. And y'all were babies, you and Micah, and y'all are very knowledgeable. And it makes sense now because I see the paths that y'all are on, man. And y'all are great men. And I want you to know that. And I want you to know that this podcast is going to blow up. It's already blowing up as we speak. It's blowing up. Believe that. But there's going to be a time down the road, man, you're going to have me back.
Oh, for sure.
And I was like, yo, man, when we was in the church, I was like, yo, you up in here like this now? I'm just telling you that, man. God want me to tell you that, bro. And you're doing great things. I heard you saying that you want to help the churches and help First Baptist and things, man. And man, I want you to know, man, if you need anything, man, if you want my help in any way, bro, I'm here, man. And
I appreciate that.
And, I know you a Dover great, Quaker great, man, but this is home.
Yeah,
all this is home for us, man. There's some great places here in New Philly. I wish I could have went to Zypher's or Denavo's or Fun Days or
we got Miller's now. We got Doco. So them some places.
So when I come back, we're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
But listen, this was a great time. Hopefully this won't be the last time that y'all hear from me. It won't be the last time, man. And I am a proud Quaker, man. I'm proud to be from this area. It makes me feel good to know that I was able to go to Ohio State, or even where I'm at now, and say, yo, I'm from New Philadelphia. And you talk to guys who used to think, when I was at school, they were like, yo, man, you from Philadelphia, PA? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm from Philly. And they're like, yeah, but that's Philly. and so being from a small town, I'm like, they're crazy. Like, New Philly's in Ohio. But, went into Ohio State like, oh, this guy's from Philadelphia, PA, and left C. Willie from New Philly. And I always wanted to tag home. Even though I was going through my gripes and complaints about home, there was still that love affair where I was like, home is home, and they still need rep. You know what I mean? So, like, when I rolled out there, I want y'all to know, like, back in 01, 02, whenever I put on that scarlet and gray and that Buckeye, I understood that how important it is for the great state. I know there was somebody asking why I flipped from being a Michigan guy to an Ohio State guy, because I do have good sense. Mama didn't raise no fool.
I appreciate y'all listening, man. And we're going to chop this up. So we're going to post the full episode on the YouTube. But we also gonna chop up to the portions that I really want y'all to hear, because most people, they might listen to this podcast on Spotify or iTunes or Google Play, but I want y'all to see the video. So we gonna chop this up and have all different videos with different parts.
Okay.
So, but I appreciate you coming through, man. I love you, man.
Man, I love you too, man.
It feels like Casablanca. Shouting you my little mama. I got a crib out of water. Say me Casa Su Casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shouting you my little mama.